Happy Wednesday, guys. It is the 8th of January. I hope everyone on this call, or on this video, should I say, is well. And this is your daily market outlook for today. So let's get straight into it. We are currently on the dollar on the daily time frame. And I wanted to start on the daily time frame just so that you guys can see what I can see. So one thing that I notice is, of course, we're in this daily range. So from this low, which is here, to this high, which is here, is our current daily range. Now, first thing you can notice is that obviously it's a big, juicy demand area, but we are in this demand area currently. We probably find a more refined area of demand, but demand is in control from a daily standpoint. Now, if we drop down to the 4 hour, you'll be able to see that we've got a lot of bullish momentum happening currently. So let me just get rid of this. So as you guys can see, let me get rid of this. As you guys can currently see, the 4 hour has been trending, upwards. It's come back down to mitigate all these areas, and then obviously moved away. If you look at this area here, this area here is where we've come now into this demand area. So this is our 4 hour demand area. And we also have taken out these lows here. So we're taking liquidity, we're tapped into the extreme part of the demand area on here. So let me just liquidity take them. We've refilled in this imbalance that we had left. And as you guys can see, we're now slowly moving away. If we look at it from a 4 hour standpoint, we've got our 4 hour higher low here. And then also our 4 hour higher high, which we are trending heavy, by the way. And then if you look for your demand areas, the first thing that I can see is, of course, we have this whole two legs as our 4 hour demand area where we can obviously come back into. So as you guys watching this is your, two demand areas. If you want to refine it, then of course you can refine it to the last candle, which is of course better for risk to reward. And obviously we would want to see the market rebalanced as well as come into the extreme of this 4 hour demand. So that is my first thoughts is we've got, daily range, which is, in an uptrend. We've got the 4 hour range, which is also in an uptrend. We have found our deepest extreme part of the demand, which is here. And then we also have a demand area here as well. So if we look at this, we've got another 4 hour demand area which we can react out from, and that will solidify our 1 hour range. So that's our 1 hour higher low, and this 4 hour is also our 1 hour higher high. So these are the these are the two positions that I'd like to see the dollar come into, either here to react from, or obviously come all the way down to react from this area. So these are the two areas that I would like to see the dollar react from. But I do believe with this momentum that we're getting, we're going to break a new daily high for sure. So that is my first thought currently going into the dollar and the time frame. As you guys can see, we are trending, and we're trending quite heavily with the dollar. And obviously that can be a representation for what's going on with the US currently. There's obviously a lot more positive things now that Trump's coming into, presidency. There's a lot more better talks coming around Trump with, even if you look at the dollar and how the dollar is going to strengthen currently going into the new year, because now they're talking about the Canadian or the Canada and, countries like Mexico and Canada combining with the US, which is only going to strengthen the dollar, which is something to keep in mind. So going into GBP USD, you can clearly see that we are in obviously the lower high here, and our lower low from a daily standpoint is here. We've come back into the deepest part of retracement here, and we've also had an internal break from a 4 hour perspective. Now, obviously, because we're trending so heavily, it is a bit more trickier to, basically understand where we should be looking for trades. Because if you look at this market, our 4 hour lower high is here for sure. Or we can class it was a higher high because we had a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, change of trend. So you can class that as a 4 hour high. We've had a change of trend, and then we did get, so we've had, if we look at this, from this higher high, higher low, higher high, we come down, broke the trend, and then we've had a little mini pullback here, and now this big movement down. So, of course, if you want, you can class This now has a 4-hour lower high rather than this 4-hour higher high. But just simply because we've got this whole leg and also imbalance here, and we didn't get a big retracement, I'm going to leave this as our 4-hour higher high. So with that being said, 4-hour lower low, obviously, I know that we can, break through this. It looks like we're going to aim to take out these lows. If we look at it from a higher time frame perspective, you'll be able to notice that for one, I would like to see us, of course, in the best possible way, come back into this area. That would be amazing. But, right now we're not going to get that. So that will be one supply area. And then the second supply area will be this area here. For me to participate in obviously looking to sell this or continue to sell this. With this momentum that's happening right now, I'm obviously not interested in just pressing sell. Just to be truthful with you, because I like to see more confirmations happen. So again, we are melting from a GU standpoint, and we're now taking out this daily lower low. So yeah, heavily trending down, and it'll be the exact same for EU. We can see on EU currently, we have tapped into the daily supply and 4-hour supply. We come back up one more time, so we reacted, we come back up, and then we had that internal 4-hour change of trend here. And again, same as GU, we didn't get a full pullback. So because we didn't get a full pullback, it's left us with these two areas here. So this would be my first 4-hour supply area. My first 4-hour supply area. And then my second supply area would be this area here, where we also have imbalance left to the extreme. So you can see we've got a 4-hour range, one supply area here. Of course, and this is where, trading can get tricky, of course. We can, come up and react and carry on from here, but also understand that this could be used as liquidity inducement, and we can come up into this area to react from this area. So, you guys trade what you see and trade what you think is right. And of course, go with the flow of your trading plan. NU and AU, pretty much the same, but I don't like the look of how they're moving currently. AU is a bit more cleaner. AU, NU, Euro USD, GBP USD, of course, move very similar. So make sure that you guys, obviously, if I'm talking about EU and GU potentially going down and dollar going up, NU and AU will most likely do the exact same. So looking at this currently where we're at, if we go to the daily time frame, this is USD CHF, you'll be able to see that we've got our daily higher low and daily higher high. Now, first things first, you can see that this last candle here is our daily demand area, and we have tapped into that daily demand area. Now, if I drop down to the 4-hour, you'll be able to notice that we are, of course, we have reacted as well from this area, or you can obviously put it up to this candle, as well as our 4-hour demand area. Now, from this daily and 4-hour demand area at the extreme, you'll be able to notice that we obviously melted, we come back in, and then we had that change of trend. And now we're in this zone where we have, same as the other pairs, we have, this 4-hour higher low, and then the 4-hour higher high, which is currently here. Now, with that being said, there's a 1-hour range, of course, here as well. So let me just mark this out. 1-hour higher low, 4-hour higher high. There we go. So first things first, this level of demand is at the extreme. So this is one level of demand, but then also understand that when we get a pullback, most likely what will happen is we will get a pullback into this area here. So 1-hour is in control. Let's put it as a forward demand. So I would expect naturally to see, of course, if we can get a pullback into this area and move away. But if we break this low, then obviously my next zone would be this zone to carry on upwards. But if you look at the trend that we're in, understand that the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour and the 1-hour are all in alignment. It is very bullish. And when you get all time frames in alignment, all higher time frames, expect, a lot of momentum, which you guys can clearly see. And just to go over that, if I go to the weekly, you've got, weekly pullback, weekly higher low, broke above here, weekly higher high. So weekly's bullish. We have daily bullish. we have 4 hour bullish, 1 hour bullish. So again, expect to see either this area or this area be our next demand area that we then go and take out these highs. Going over to USD CAD, let's have a look from a daily standpoint. From a daily standpoint, of course, you'll be able to see that it's been a lot more choppy, and we've talked about USD CAD being so much more choppy than anything else. Now, for me personally, if you look at this, we can even change this to be our daily lower high and daily lower low, and this where it can obviously contradict what you're looking at for the dollar, because if you look at this currently, you'll be able to see that when we was ranging in this area, and we talked about it all over Christmas, over New Year, we had no real breakout. Now we have tapped in lower, and we did have this big juicy candle, which I would class as a 4 hour and even 4 hour change of trend. But this could be a possibility where we've just come to rebalance some of this to then carry on upwards. So we need to understand what the dollar's doing first to understand USD CAD, USD CHF. So if I look at this currently, yes, this is our daily lower high, our daily lower low, but also understand that this is a lot very bullish, and we did tap in and reverse a little bit from this level of imbalance here. Let me just mark this out. This level of imbalance here. So if we drop down to the 4, if I have a daily, my daily, let me actually go back to the daily. We're in this daily supply area. So when we're in a daily supply area, 4 hour supply area, of course, if we're in a downwards trend, we want to see that reaction from the supply. Now, let me go back to here. If we was to react, this big candle would be our supply, 4 hour supply. Yes, you can reduce this area to this area here, of course. So whatever floats your boat. So this would be naturally our 4 hour supply. Now, from a 4 hour standpoint, what can I see? Well, from a 4 hour standpoint, I can see that if we follow the trend here, we've obviously come down, we come back up, we come back down, and then we are now back in that bullish uptrend for a 4 hour. So we have our 4 hour higher low here, and our 4 hour higher high. Now, if the 4 hour is bullish, but the daily seems to be bearish, do I want to be following the daily or the 4 hour? Well, I want to be following the trend that's happening right now in the lower time frames. So I want to be following the 4 hour, until we get a change of that trend to then align with the daily, if that makes sense. So I would like to see eventually a pullback into this area here. This will be my 4 hour supply area. And yes, you can also refine it to this area here because we do have that imbalance, but this overall is our 4 hour supply area. So I would like to see the bullish momentum carry on if the dollar is, and we just continue to trend upwards from here, unless we get this, something like this, where we break the trend from a 4 hour and we're reacting from here. And if we get this, then obviously I will be looking at selling USD CAD, because a 4 hour will be in the same alignment as the daily. But of course, we've got to follow the 4 hour trend right now. So hopefully that makes sense. Bullish momentum from the 4 hour. Let me just quickly mark out this 4 hour chain of trend, or break, if you want to call it that. Okay, perfect. We are already breaking. Look at this. We are literally we are trending right now. GJ currently, we go to the daily. You'll be able to see that we have this daily higher low and daily higher high. Now, first thought that I always have, when we have a pullback and then a break, what we want to see is obviously another pullback, which we do get, and then that demand area should go and break a new high. Now, as you guys can see, currently right now, we didn't get that high broke. We actually reacted from, it would be more of a 4 hour, but we reacted from, a level of supply up here. So we're actually reacting from a level of supply up here, and we are currently now having a lot of momentum down. So that being said, could this be the catalyst to go and break this low and going back into a downtrend? Now, if I go to the 4 hour, what can we see? Well, from a 4 hour, we can see that this 4 hour supply, let's actually refine it. This 4 hour supply, did we actually mitigate the whole area? No, we almost did. But this 4 hour supply has been met. And if you look at the trend that we are currently in, you'll be able to see that we had obviously this movement happen. And you'll be able to notice that we now have trended back up. This should have then, this area here should have then continued this trend. It hasn't. And we've now had a break. So we look at this, we are now currently in this range of this 4 hour lower high, and this, I know it's trending still massively, but this 4 hour lower low. So with that being said, where do I want to see the market come back into? Well, I would like to see eventually the market pull back into this space here. This whole consolidation area will be my 4 hour supply. Yes, as always, you can refine it to the last two candles if you want to do that. But just to be a bit more on my toes, I want to cover this whole consolidation area before the big breakout that we had. So that is my first thought, that for the 4 hour, but of course understand that, look, right now we are in this demand area, which we of course could see a reaction from this demand area to carry on this trend upwards. So again, we're in that level of supply and demand. Just from my standpoint, we come down into the extreme of this demand area. I personally would have wanted to see this extreme area demand go and break this high. Ooh, go and break this high. Like, hopefully you guys on this call, this makes sense. We didn't get that. So that tells me, okay, if we come into the deepest part of this daily and 4 hour demand area and we didn't break the high, does that mean a supply could potentially be taking more control? Yes. So with that being said, I want to then be playing both sides as well. But yes, as you guys can see, I will be looking for 4 hour supply area to be met currently. And that'll be pretty much the same for, of course, the other pairs, EJ and USD Japanese yen. If you look at EJ, we're coming to the deep part of the demand. We didn't meet this 4 hour demand area, and we didn't break the high to carry the daily trend on. And what we ended up doing is we ended up reacting from this 4 hour supply area here. So this 4 hour supply area is now in control. And if you look at the trend that's happening, same as GJ, let's just play this out. We've got this pullback. We broke above. We had obviously a break here. We come back up, create a higher high. This then come in to mitigate this last candle. This should have broke a high. We didn't get that. We had a pullback, and now we broke a little bit lower. So for me, my range would be from this high, from a 4 hour, this lower high, to this 4 hour lower low. So let's get rid of this. And my level of the supply, let me just mark this break. Oh, sorry, 1 second, guys. This level, this would be my break here. 4 hour break. So I would expect to see the markets come into this consolidation stage here and carry the trend on downwards. So I'd expect this trend to carry on downwards. And then obviously when we get into this lower part, that's where we can reevaluate. But you guys just want to be in and out of the markets anyway. Collect your 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s, or whatever it is that, floats your boat, and then go from there. So yeah, I'm not going to touch on USD Japanese yen. We are breaking above this right now. Everything else I have covered pretty much. Again, I know it's a little bit later, and it's a bit more later in the day that I've uploaded this, and of course the markets are moving like mad. So I do apologize. But for me, and my advice to you guys on the call, if you haven't got clear setups, do not let this whole do not let this whole seeing the markets basically trend so much, don't let that make you make stupid decisions. Please sit on your hands and wait for the right setup that meets your trading plan. Please understand that, because yes, it's bullish, the dollar, which means GU and EU and other pairs are obviously bearish or bullish. Understand that it doesn't mean that you have to participate. Sometimes the best trades are the ones that you sit on your hands and then obviously evaluate and then participate. So make sure you guys are, being clever on the markets and not jumping in just because we've got a lot of movement happening. But yeah, other than that, guys, I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. If you ever need anything at all, do not hesitate to drop comments on the YouTube video below. And just to let you guys know as well, go to the link in my bio. I've got a free Telegram group and also my only Instagram that I have. Be aware because there is a few fake Instagrams out there that have more followers than me, which is funny because I don't want you guys to make any stupid mistakes and get scammed or whatever it may be that can happen. But other than that, guys, have an amazing Wednesday and we will catch up tomorrow. God bless.